So, Women Who Cut has a mission empower diverse women to excel in technology career. Our vision is a tech industry where diverse women and historically excluded people thrive at every level. We have our values. They are focus on the mission, design for inclusion, advocate for change, and journey forward. Overall, Women Who Code is a global community that's represented in more than 100 countries and have more than 360,000 members all over the world. We have code of conduct. In 2 words, please be nice to each other. If you see that something is not right, please contact with us, send email to our global community, or also you can reach out to me personally, also, or anyone from leadership of Women Who Code. We have a lot of contact on demand that you can find through YouTube. We have also newsletters that you could subscribe for, community campaigns like hackathons, podcasts, blog posts, a lot of materials that you have an access for free. We constantly looking for people to contribute in our community, so we're constantly looking for leads to help us to develop more tracks and evangelists who will share more about our community in social media. If you'd like to volunteer, please do not hesitate and join us. Also, we looking for general volunteers who helps us to organize our in-person events, our programs, like this mentorship program that is going to be presented. And yeah, we do a lot. We help with events to connect people together. Right now, we do also in-person events in London. We do writing club and help to contribute with articles in our blog. We have book club where we gathering together every month and read book about leadership and technical books. We have friendly coffee chats in our Slack. We have scholarships and free conference tickets, and we have jobs channel where we publish the latest update. And if you want to help us, join us as volunteer and let us know through I Want to Have channel. We also have, as Women Who Cut London, our GitHub page. If you'd like, you can scan it here and check out. There are all our materials, and they are accessible to learn from Women Who Cut. Thanks a lot for your attention. Now I stop sharing and I'm going to give my imagery microphone to Madhura, who is going to present you today our mentorship program.
Thank you so much, Irina. Let me start. I'll keep this quite brief. Let me start by sharing who can share. Oh, I can't share. Or, I don't think I have permission to share. That's weird. Okay, I think I can. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay, all right. So let me just start with the mentorship program. Just give you a brief overview of that. So this is our, let me go through this. So as you can see that we have been having we have already conducted 4 cycles of it, and this is our 5th cycle. This mentorship program is it's an extremely successful initiative, and it's actually quite close to my heart. We have really good mentors, and they put in time and effort and supporting in all the mentees. So thanks to all the mentors, mentees, and the volunteers who make this program a big success. So as you can see from the statistics, we are a growing community. There are lots of mentees who apply. This is what the mentees have to say, and we have got a very positive feedback. There are wherever we have got some improvements, we are making improvements. The mentees in general are quite happy with what the support they get from us. mentors as well. So it's not just mentees who get benefited, but it's also the mentors, because it is quite fulfilling and an enriching program where you can actually support someone and see them grow. And we are always on the lookout for mentors. So if you want, if you want to give back to your community, if you want to help someone, if you want to make sure that it's a very inclusive community, then please do sign up as a mentor. um, so that's that. These are the two formats that we actually support, which is long-term mentorship and ad hoc mentorship. Long-term is something where you have one mentor and you have multiple sessions with the mentor from April to November. Ad hoc is more of one time when you want some help from somebody for an hour, you talk to that person, and then that's the end of the story. So this is the QR code if you want to register, sign up for that. Um, then next slide. So this is the long-term registrations are ending on 20th of March. So if you want some support, please do sign up quickly. So you are not alone when we actually, we say mentorship. It's actually we provide support. So there are progress tracking sessions, catch-up sessions. So if you have any questions, if you want to approach somebody, you can actually message us on Slack channel, and you'll get some help. Um, as far as the roadmap goes, this is what the mentorship roadmap looks for the current year. So we will have a kickoff meeting around 11th of April. Then we will have regular meetups in between, right from April to November. Then there will be some catch-up sessions, check-ins in between, and then there will be end of program towards November. So that's how the roadmap looks like. And of course, as Irina has already said, we have a code of conduct. It is for mentees and mentors. So please have a read for the code of conduct. It's some things like, first of all, respect towards each other. If you want to cancel a session, you should be giving at least 24 hours notice, because somebody has put in effort to schedule the meeting. And then big thanks to the volunteers and the contributors who work behind the scene to make this program a success. So that's from me, I think. And then we can jump into the panel discussion, which is what we are here for. So let me stop sharing. Just bear with me for a minute, because there are too many screens open on here. And how do I stop sharing is the question. Stop sharing. Has it stopped sharing? It has, right?
Yeah, it's perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So yes, so let's start with the actual panel discussion, which is what we are here for. And can I just request, maybe I'll start with Aisha, and if you can introduce yourself, then maybe Monal can pick up, then, Irina or Stephanie, and just a brief introduction. I think I didn't get to introduce myself. Did I say that? Who am I talking? No. Okay. So let me first introduce myself. I'm Madhura, and I'll be the moderator for the day. And with me is lovely Arzu, my friend, who will be my co-host. She will be keeping an eye on the chat messages. So if you have any questions for the panelists or for us, just message them in the chat, and towards the end we'll pick those questions up. So right, let's begin. To you, Aisha.
Thank you, Madhura. Hello and welcome to everyone joining this meetup so late. I'm very, very thankful for all of you to join. I'm Aishwarya. I come from India. You can also call me Aisha. I've been working here in Germany for over 5 years now. I work as a data scientist at Trivago, and I've been working in this field of what is now known as AI or data science for almost 7 years. I've been a mentor with Women Who Code for, I guess, the two cycles, one as a long-term mentor and second as a ad hoc mentor, and I've really enjoyed both of them. So this is just me trying to welcome you all to the mentorship and giving you more advice. So now I pass the torch to somebody.
Yeah, please do. Whoever your pick.
Okay, then I will pick Stephanie, who's right beside me.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm Stephanie, or short Steph. I'm Austrian and I'm based in London for like the last 5 years. I'm senior software engineer at SOPA, and I'm kind of a career switcher. So I've been tax editor in the Austrian government before I made the switch to a tech role. And so I still remember how it was not having like role models or like just starting out. And I really like to share my passion and motivate others to grow. And I'm picking now Monal. Hope I pronounced it right.
Yes, thanks, Steph. That's right. Hi, everyone. I'm Monal. I started my career about 14 years ago as a full stack engineer in Morgan Stanley in New York. And over the years, I have taken on several roles as a software engineer, as a system architect, as a program manager, as the manager, and then manager of managers. I've worked in New York, in Mumbai, and in London. I've been in London for over 7 years now. My expertise is in app development, so mainly web development. And in my last role, I've been running web and mobile native app development for a company called SOA, which is an energy tech startup company looking to transform consumer experiences and eventually have the potential to reach net zero through technology. So I am passionate about leading the software teams now that create software that makes a difference. If you are interested in fintech or scale ups or startups, feel free to reach out to me. I'm also a mentor and have been a mentor for the last couple of years with Women Who Code. I think it's a great community. Yeah, that's it about me. I will hand over to Irina.
Thanks a lot. Okay, so a little bit about myself. I'm senior backend software engineer. I mostly worked with JVM languages like Java, Scala, Kotlin, and I did backend all my career. It's around 8 years. In last 4 years, I moved to London, and I'm living in London, and I started to volunteer for Women Who Code as a volunteer. Today, I'm Senior Director of EMEA Networks, which include London, Edinburgh, Sofia, and Accra. And I'm really happy to be there. And I'm really happy to be here in this discussion. First ever mentorship program 1.0. I did this presentation as well, and we launched the first ever cycle, and it was very exciting. And I'm so happy that right now we have triple more applications from Menti and Mentors. And also in last year, I won awards Women Tech 100 UK from We As a City and Technologies to Watch in Financial Technologies from Women Who Code. And I love mentoring a lot. I do it in my workplace. We have this program where senior engineers mentor middle engineers could mentor junior engineers. And my mentorship journey started with Women Who Code, this first ever program.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Was a good introduction. So let's get started. So uh, we all know that we started, at the very beginning, just entering into the tech world, early days, sort of. And the very first challenges that we face is there is a steep learning curve. You don't know whom to help, or how to approach anyone. So what do you think, what are the technical challenges that women face early in their careers and how a mentor can help? So anybody who wants to open can go ahead. Aisha, Stephanie, Monal, anybody.
I'm happy to kick it off.
Just go ahead, Monal.
Okay. Sure. I'll hand over to you shortly. I think one of the biggest challenges that women face, not just when entering, but throughout their careers, in my experience, has been asking for help. I find that women find it extremely challenging to show that they need support or they can ask for help. Maybe risk conditioning to be the one who looks after other people and helps other people. So it's even harder for us to ask for help. And in my experience, coaching other women as well, this is one aspect that I've been spending most of my time coaching women engineers who are in my teams, to essentially say, hey, you can ask for help when you're stuck, and that then becomes the major way to unblock yourself. So I'll leave it with that, and I'll hand over to Steph to give her perspective.
Thanks, Mona. Yeah, I certainly agree, especially when you imagine you start out in tech and you're the only woman in the room, or even in like the team. Like my first job, I was basically the first woman in tech in the whole company. And it was kind of hard to figure out like how you ask for help if you don't know anything, because you always try like to feel or to stay competent, like and compare to others, even though you don't know their experience. So it's always this whole communication where you just go ahead and say, hey, that's an area I don't know, but I would like to learn about. So that's like one of the biggest challenges. So I agree with Mona there.
Yeah. No, I think we may all have seen that, right? Because the minute you start working, the pressure is full on. Like, you don't want to show as if, oh, I don't know something. Let me just try to wade the waters, and approaching for help is difficult. And I think that's where probably mentorship or having a mentor helps, because you can then go and approach somebody at least. Aisha, you want to add something to this?
Yeah, sure. I think this is also like asking for help is also one thing that happens before and after. And then I have also seen with most of my mentees that losing confidence in their technical skills when they face rejection is one of their roadblocks. It's very hard for them to believe in their own abilities because they take rejection twice as hard. And I try to explain that sometimes rejection is double-sided, and it's not always like the company rejecting you, but also a sign that the company or the position might not be a good fit for you from your side. You don't want to end up in a company where you're not happy. So to instill the confidence on yourself and trust in your abilities is something that most of the women face, and that's where I think a mentor can like help you boost your confidence and show you that it's not some technical skills or some challenges that you're lacking. It's basically not maybe a right fit at that point of time.
All right. Irina, you want to add something?
Yes, I would like to add that sometimes it's even help, sometimes it's very challenging team, and they expect from new hires to be very self-sufficient, to learn by themselves. But what I shocked that it's really hard to say no when the person who started to do the same work in the same team actually coming to you and ask questions that you had to find out by yourself. Like, for me, it was very hard because, well, I did this way by myself. No one advised me. I searched on the internet, etc. But now this person coming to me and ask for help, and I can't say no because, well, I can share this experience. I'm really happy that I can do it. And at the same time, I feel a bit weird because actually I didn't know that it's possible to ask this question. It looks to me like it's something that this person could overcome as well on themselves. And here I would add again, sometimes it depends like what exactly expected, and sometimes it's very challenging team itself, which expecting from newcomers to learn by themselves, and the more self-sufficient you be, then better they will look at you. But it doesn't mean that you should not ask for questions at the same time, because sometimes questions allow you to find out, allow others to find out what are you working for, what are you working on. And if you do not ask them, no one knows what are you working on. Yeah, then that is hard. And another thing that I would like to add, that's really hard for us to overcome checkboxes. When we see the job spec, we see how many described there, and we think, oh, I'm going to apply only if I know everything from this list. And if I don't know some points, then I can't apply. And the most surprising thing for me when I read in the book that's called Myth of Nice Girl, there are actually, maybe on the first page, the paragraph that says that according to Harvard research, women apply only if they can do 100% of a job description, and men apply if they can do around 30. And that's it. And it was a great surprise for me.
Yeah, I think that is true because we expect ourselves to be at 110% probably at that point. We have to be good at everything. Only then we can apply for that job. So that's true. I mean, asking for help, asking questions initially when you're entering into the tech world, there would be some challenges definitely, but having a mentor will help. That would be definite a plus point. So I think we all have been working, at least the panelists, I think, are working for quite some time. So do you have any sort of success stories or anything to share with where, the mentors have helped navigate this, any specific challenge, any broader challenge, generic, any sort of challenge? If you have any examples or anything. Anybody can go, whoever wants to pick Monal.
Maybe I can break the ice over here because recently mentee who I was mentoring for. So I was doing the ad hoc session. So we met just once for the session, and she was someone who had taken a break, career break. And for me, giving advice is mostly easier for people who are like newcomers to the tech, or easier for me to like relate or give advice because I have been through that. Since I have not taken a break, it was very hard for me to like help, but still I was very willing and said I can try and help, build resumes, do LinkedIn help, prepare for interview, etc. And recently she messaged me saying that she was very successful in finding a job, and she would she really liked the mentorship program. So I think that was one of my achievements in a way, because I never expected that outcome. You mentor with having always a good intent, but you don't focus on the outcome. But obviously, having a positive outcome is a cherry on the top.
Yeah. No, I think that is true because that's where I said, right, it's not just a journey for the mentees but for the mentors as well, because it is satisfaction, fulfillment. You sort of get that out of the whole program. Anyone else? Monal, Irina, Stephanie, anybody wants to add anything?
Yeah, I would happy to add. I would say that there could be two branches for these questions. Like first, how mentor helped me. So I didn't apply actually for mentor, but sometimes I ask people to help me to navigate me through my career. And the brightest example was I just met a guy at a conference, and he was inspired with our conversation, and he told me to apply for a company that I thought I'm not ready to apply for. And he actually referred me to his team, and he pushed me a lot, like prepare with this, prepare with that. And it wasn't like official mentorship. He just decided to help me. And it was very nice because by myself, I thought I'm not ready for them. And I applied and I passed interview and I got the job. And for me, it was very cool experience that someone could push you, just saying you, hey, why don't you just try? Why don't you go for it? Why actually you won't apply? And I didn't have, like, by myself, I was telling myself, like, I'm not ready. I'm not going to pass it. And I tried and it helped me. Another thing that I work with managers and they telling me like how exactly to build my brag book to the end of performance review, how I actually stand for myself. And it also helped my career. And now how actually how I like to be mentor is a lot about sharing my experience. And my ever first mentorship program started with Minty, who wanted to change job, and he wanted to go to London from Brighton. And she applied for many interviews, so she also did a lot of work on her side. And we did a lot of mock interviews, and she successfully found a new job. And I was really happy for her. And then there was another mentees, and they achieved their goals. Then they put goals clear, what exactly they want, they achieve it. And for me, it's always my heartful win that they achieve these goals. And I'm always happy to listen to them and help them.
Yeah, I think that's true. In fact, a long time, I like Aisha when you mentioned that, your mentee was actually, taking a break and coming back. It was, I think, some 18 years when my son was born. I did take a break for 2, 3 years, and that was really long time back. I mean, my son is in uni now. So at that time, there was no concept of mentorship or anything, and coming back was so difficult. So when I look back, I feel as if, oh, at that point, maybe a mentor would have helped, you know, just to talk you through, like Irina said, right? Just words of encouragement, somebody to be there and push you around, or not push you, but at least encourage you that, you can do it. It does make a difference. So on that same vein of having a good mentorship, or is there anything that you would suggest for building a good, so strong professional network, so to say? Because we all know that sort of having a community or having a network does help, where somebody can approach you and say, okay, you can apply for this job or do something. Is there any recommendations or anything, points that you would like to give us, or strategies, so to say? Anybody? Yeah, Stephanie.
Okay. So I had my mentees were like in different countries, so it was kind of hard to figure out how you get the cultural aspect, like US, Germany, Austria, and UK. They all work quite differently when it comes to like building your network, getting jobs. But from all my mentees, like it's always the same. It's kind of like, even if you have a lot of network, like recruiters, which is normal in UK and on LinkedIn and other platforms, but it's always the fact that, hey, there's a job description. I really would like to apply, but I don't apply because I don't check all the boxes. And every time, like when I had mentees like applying, and I was like, okay, even if you apply and you don't get an invite, you just tried it. Because I think in my experience, you are always also afraid to fail. And I think this mindset, like you can try it and you can fail it, but you learn something, which I have a really great mentor in my company. But it was like kind of really hard to like get this mindset. And I do have like mentees just widening the network, go to events, go to recruiters or something, and then just apply for the job. And even if it's just for the interview or for the introduction call, you still learn something, even if you don't make it.
No, that does make sense. Just getting the practice of talking to, complete strangers and explaining your side, it does help. Monal, would you like to add something on this? Because I'm sure you have taken a lot more interviews than any,
Is the question about how to grow professional work, or
It's you can choose either. Like if you want to speak about growing your professional network, fine. Otherwise, if you want to just jump in and give some advice about interviews, also that's all right.
yeah, sure. I think I can do both. Let me talk about professional network, right? I think that attending meetups is something I did very late in my career. I think I could have done that sooner, and that's one way to build your network. And I've met some amazing people over the last few years. I was just very busy, just heads down, doing my work always, and thinking that that will be enough, and that's the success that I will have, and that'll be it. But no, I realized as I'm growing in my career that it becomes more and more important. And actually, at every stage, it is important, depending on your circumstance, who is there in your network to essentially show you the path to so many different types of careers in tech as well, because there is no one path. And that means if you have access to different people, just talking to them, attending sessions like this, you all have, all in this panel discussion today, that's an opportunity to learn about other people's career paths as well. So I think that's one way to build a network, to find communities that you can see yourself passionate about, and then making an effort to go in there. I've been an introvert myself. I didn't like going to those, but once you start pushing yourself, it does get easier. And I think the other question was around interviews, isn't it? Is that about mentors and how they can help with interviews? I think for me personally, I've come from an investment banking tech background, and I was very skeptical of moving out of that financial services industry. And I had mentors who had made the move from one industry to another, who helped me with the interview process and what leadership looks like in tech startups. So I had to lean on my network and ask for help and see if that is a path for me or not, and what it would look like. So personally, I've benefited from that, and I've had a move into into software development startups and SaaS companies now because of that. So it can help you. It's essentially, mentoring is, what is your current life experience? Where do you go from where you are to where you want to be? And who has already done that before, who can help you share that experience? That is what mentorship is. So that's ideally who you want to seek, who can help you move into that place and help, and succeed.
No, that's well said, because I think, Irina, please.
You can finish what you think. Let us know.
No,
I can
go ahead.
Okay.
I was just going to say that, Monal, I completely agree with you, because this is how I met Monal for the first time. I was attending Aspiring Women CTO meetup, and that was the first time we met. And I, ever since, I really admire her, because she has taken steps to actually, progress in her career. And at some point, I'm going to book an ad hoc session with her, because, but again, that's a different story. Let Irina speak. Yeah, please, Irina.
Sure. Thanks a lot for sharing. I also need to go to the session, I suppose. Okay, so the question about building strategy for career is a very good question. I would say, imagine it's first ever your job. So first advice that I would give, quite maybe unexpected. Second day, ask how to grow from junior to middle. What do you need for this? How do you need to go to the next level? Second day, okay, if it's second day too early for you, second week. But keep in mind that I told you second day you already have this discussion with manager, how exactly grow to the next level. Then half a year, it's a first milestone where you should start interviews if you only started your career. And that's what I would say to myself years ago. Half a year, go to the interview. I would say like half a year is good enough to be familiar with new job, start something, especially if it's a postgraduate job, like you've never have this experience in this industry. Half a year, I would say yes, it should be time to get familiar and understand where you are. And even if you like your job, even if you have it's amazing colleagues, everything can go well, go to the interview anyway. Go and check out what skills they need on the market, what are trends right now, what exactly they ask. Because if at some point, maybe you wouldn't change your job, but if in 1 year, 2 years, you would come up to idea that actually it's time to grow up, and then you're not ready yet, because now you have to go through these processes, find out what they're asking on the interview, what's changed in these 2 years. So I would say, even if you only started career, especially in our industry, IT industry, where everything is changing super rapidly, half a year already go and go to the interview and already try again, challenge your skills. Maybe it's hard, and maybe it's even first ever job. It was really hard to find out, but practice interviewing, and then at some point it will become super boring. Like you would question yourself, why are they again asking me about hash maps? They asked me the same 8 years ago. Why still this question? And yeah, like even some questions, I would say you could answer them if they will wake up you in 3 a.m. at night. And then, like for many interviews, you will feel like, okay, that at least for this, I definitely ready. So that's my advice. And the first point will be again about asking your managers what exactly they would like to see, having it documented, document everything, what you achieved, what you were asked, what exactly they wanted you to progress. Did you progress in this case? It's very interesting way to say manage your manager, which mean like actually manage communication with your manager, like what exactly they would like you to do, how exactly they would like you to grow up, what exactly they think your blind spots where you could lift up your skills, and what exactly they think that's your strong points where you could thrive even without really putting it hard. Sometimes, like in my case, it's communications. Like everyone telling me, okay, you are the best communicative engineers I ever seen. That's what my colleagues telling me, because they just don't like that much communication. And it's still fourth point, and it's just will repeat the point about conferences. And when I shared the story about the guy who pushed me, that's all because I wanted to go to the conference. I wanted to be connected with people. I wanted to get this energy. And it's also something about my nature. Like I get energy from people. But if you don't, it's still a good point to find out what people's there and find out how could you get the energy from there. And it's very good point to build connection. And as interesting what said just a week ago, Reggie, blow your bubble, like push your bubble, like go out from your bubble and go and see how it works outside of your bubble.
Yeah, that's really good, Irina. Yes, I think we all need to grow out of the comfort zone and explore some more to actually achieve something. So that's well said. What piggybacking on the same thing that Irina mentioned, actually, that, go on your second day and go ask what is your career path or career growth. Anything you want to add on how, suppose I am going for an interview, and what should I be looking at? What is my career path? Should we be asking, right at the interview stage, or how do we approach that problem? Like, do we need to know at this point how well are we going to progress if we take up this new job or anything that we are venturing into? Anything to add on that? Just to, or even, just if I want to grow from an IC individual contributor to a leadership role, what challenges I would have, or anything on that front where, you have been an individual contributor first and then you want to now grow into a leadership role. Anything on that? Any advice on that? Where mentors can help. I mean, by now we have concluded that mentors do help. There is no doubt on that. It's just what sort of things would you look for in a mentor, or what can the mentor do for you if you want to progress, say, from individual contributor to become a tech lead, or anybody, into manager position? Yes, Monal.
Yeah, I'm happy to kick it off. I think that this is a place where mentors can help the most, especially in the transition from IC to a tech lead or a manager position, because I think what you want to know is what are the expectations of that role, both officially and unofficially, like formally and informally, because there is a formal expectation that your manager will tell you, and you can find out, or your company might have a progression framework where it's listed out. But I think having a mentor can help you understand what was the experience the mentor went through when they did the move themselves, and how you can prepare yourself for those challenges that can come up. And and collect different perspectives on that as well. So ideally, you may want to hear from one or two people who have gone through that and see what are the challenges and identify if it is the right path for you. Because individual contributor roles can also be leadership roles, or they can also be very much specialist and focused specialized skills roles that I think can be very fulfilling. So identifying what is the right next move for your career, mentors can help with that, because it may even be that you speak to someone who has done that transition into management and you learn something about yourself that makes you think maybe that's not the right right move for me right now, or maybe I will do it later. So there's a lot of factors that go into career transitions, and I think mentors are immensely helpful. In fact, I think they're the most helpful in those situations.
Yeah. No, I agree. I recently had met one person. She was quite driven, and she wanted to become principal engineer. And we started talking, and things started moving. And then, but she is really good with she is good with people management. And then eventually it evolved, like, yeah, maybe she wants to be a people manager rather than so those kind of things actually do come out as you have conversation more and more. uh, that's true. Anything, Stephanie, you want to add, or Aisha?
Yeah,
Stephanie?
maybe I'll just add that, like Monal, you exactly mentioned, and Madhura, you also added this fact that sometimes people realize that it's different. At least for my company as well, for me, when I moved from India to Europe, the culture or the company and how people look at leadership is very, very different. So, like going from an IC role to a more leadership role is always doesn't qualify as a promotion or like a growth in the career, because I know that a lot of people in my company, in my team as well, who have gone back and forth and who have chosen to decline leadership positions because they like to work hands on projects and lead projects rather than manage people. they don't. So during mentoring sessions as well, I also when I was doing mentoring within like inside my company, when people mention that they want to go for a leadership role, I would ask them like what's the reason, ask their intention question, and eventually somehow you kind of find out like what they expect from the role and what the role actually is actually very, very different. So that's where you can like step in and say, maybe this is what you're expecting, this is how it might look like, and there could be a gap, or maybe it's a perfect fit.
Yeah,
So
it's good. That's true. Stephanie, you want to say something or?
Yeah, I think I fully agree, because even if your company has like a guide, like that's what we expect from, I don't know, people manager or like a staff engineer or something, not every team or like every situation might be the same. So you might, it's really useful to have connections to like people who have done this growth, because it's the same like if you read a book about how to lead a team, not every team is the same. It's kind of, it always depends, but I'm not in the leadership position myself, but it's always like, because people are having this thing in mind, I'm lead engineer and I don't have to talk to people or whatever. You still have to like help others, and you're still part of a team. So it's not that people manager are only doing that and lead engineer you never see or something. So it's always like really good to figure out when you talk to people who've done this path.
Correct. Yeah. Irina, you want to add something?
Yeah, I would return to the start of initial question, like what should I look at when I apply for a job? I would first of all ask as many, like I would advise to ask as many possible questions from HR, how exactly to prepare for the interview, because technical interviews, they could be very different. Some asking lead code tasks, like, and like it's about, also it's a different level, like some ask easy, some ask hard, and it's actually a different level of preparation. So it's important to find out what actually is they going to ask for the interview to prepare for the process. Sometimes it's really about projects. Sometimes they asking you to build something on your own. I remember I was surprised when I came to London and I had to solve around 5 different tasks on my own to build apps from scratch. And that was the first ever point to reach to the interview. Before interview, I had to solve something, spend time and build the project. That has surprised me because it's different to my country. So, and then only the HR will talk with you like what is the next step and etc. So I would first of all ask as many questions from HR as possible. Even for these assignments, like it's really different what exactly they could expect. And I know that it's possible to over-engineer assignment a lot and do not even pass to the first stage of the interview. So your point of contact is HR, and as many hints they could give you, as many examples, and etc. In this case, even recruiting agency could be very helpful. Sometimes they share with you like what other candidates did and what mistakes were there. I love recruiting agency just for this one. Yeah, so that's a lot to first of all find out how to break there. When you break there, then you could go with all these questions how to grow up there. And also important to ask, are they looking for new technologies? Because sometimes they have a lot of legacy systems and probably it won't be really interesting for you to work there. And one more thing that I would advise, to try to find out at least 2 offers at the same time, because that will make your position much stronger. If you have already one, try to push it to find out just another one offer and to see like if it's something like where you could land up and start to sell yourself. Like actually I can do that, like I have an offer which is better than yours. Could you advise me something more. In this case, recruiting agency are bad because they'll try to get yes from you just in 1 hour after your first interview. And it's really hard, like they really push because that's how they could get bonus for hiring you somewhere. So that's what you could be prepared for.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what would I advise, especially for newcomers.
Yeah, I think, and that's true, right? We are not very good at negotiating. At least we think as if, oh, if we negotiate too much, it won't be good. So that's another discussion for another day, probably, how to negotiate salaries, and that's a really good point. The one thing I would like to touch upon is HR. Asking questions to HR, as Irina mentioned, is a good thing because HR, they are quite friendly, and in fact, they are also looking for a good fit for their company. So it's like a mutual thing. If you are a good fit, they would like, and it's so that does work out. So asking question does help. I think we are almost out of time. I had one question, but I think we need to take questions from the audience as well. I was going
Yes, we
to ask.
have, sorry, we have a question. If you want, I will help you.
Yes, please.
Yes, we will start here. Maybe after we check the QA question. First of all, Akshay asks, is this mentorship only for women who are looking for a job in tech or new to tech? Can women who joined their first tech job can ask for this mentorship program?
So, who's is anyone taking the question?
First question, yeah.
So generally, like you can apply for this mentorship program at each stage. It's like you're looking for a job, you want to go from junior to mid, from mid to senior, senior to lead engineer or engineering manager. So it doesn't really matter like what point or what stage you're in. So if you're looking for some advice or something, just that's for you then. If that helps that answer.
Thank you so much. Another question is, Marcia asks, have you had mentorship experience that didn't work? What made them not work?
Yeah, that's a good question actually, because we have spoken very much positive about how mentorship works, but there are cases where it sort of doesn't work for whatever reason. So if anyone wants to jump in and just say what could be the deal breaker at that point.
I can talk from my personal experience. I've had mentors through the mentorship program in my company where after an initial session or two, I felt that we don't have that chemistry, if I can call it that, or that understanding of each other's because of different backgrounds and different experiences. I think the intersectionality of like your culture, your background, where you've come from, especially in global multinationals or just in London as well. There's a lot of people who are not born and raised here, and then what happens is you don't relate to those experiences, and I think that's completely fine. It has happened to me. I think in that case, either the relationship naturally kind of fizzles out because you don't have a lot to talk about, so you're not meeting regularly, or you can even take if it is from your side where you feel that a different mentor would be suited. I think it's completely fine to have an open and honest conversation with your mentor and then suggest that this is exactly what I'm looking for in a mentor, and I think that a mentor better suited in these aspects will be able to help me. And it can also be the other way around. Maybe the mentor doesn't have time for mentorship, though they thought they would have the time. In that case also, I think it's best if the mentor then just mentions to the mentee what are the reasons why this might not work out long term. So there are reasons. And I would also say you outgrow mentors as well over a period of time. And it's not about not working out, but you have dealt with the problem at that point. You've dealt with the situation you had that point in time, which is going from point A to point B. The mentor helped you over there, but then going from point B to point C, you may need a different type of mentor because your previous mentor has not had experience doing the transition from B to C. So in that case, you may want to look for someone who has had that experience. And, you know, I've had mentors like that I've outgrown, but are very good friends now in my life, you know, and I've kept in touch and we still meet up for a coffee once in a while or whatever, but that relationship is now changed. So that happens as well.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, thanks, Monal.
Thank you so much. Another question. I am a career shifter. Indira asks, I am a career shifter who just finished a boot camp front-end side and also a bit older than the usual junior devs. Are there success stories you can share about other people like me who have suggest transition to the sector?
I think I can share my story on this one, if I may. One of my mentee was actually moving from a food industry. She was working as a manager in food industry, and she wanted to enter the tech world. And she was so dedicated. She started with so it's all these small projects, learning new languages, and she built a big portfolio for herself. She had a website. She showcased all her work there, all her projects, GitHub, everything. And now she has got a job and she is settled in her job. So I'm very proud of her. So definitely, yes, it is possible, I would say. Anyone else who wants to add anything on that?
So I'm a career shifter myself. So being from a really different background. And I know if a lot of people who did that. But I think the only thing like you have is like your experience. Even if it's like in a completely different job, you might be able to think like outside that box of someone who just like study computer science and just want to have a job. Because you might be able to see like the big picture, a product in a different way than others. But I think overall it's intimidating to look for the first job, but don't get demotivated. Just stay like yourself, and just because the first one is pretty much do a lot of interviews and just try yourself, or maybe make videos, but don't hesitate to just not apply for jobs or not try it, because you might have that something which they are looking for in the next employee.
Thank you. Another question, Paula asked, what is the best thing a mentor ever told you, or what would you wish they had told you?
Anyone? Was the best thing a mentor ever told you, or what would you wish they had told you? I think this probably is a question for mentee would be able to answer it better. But if we flip it on its head and say that, you know, what is the best advice you think you gave to your mentee?
When I first started my job, we had this topic, no one really told me like how to ask. It's like, I started this job and you're pretty much overwhelmed by everything because you're like this tiny little girl in like a toy shop and everything is like so interesting. You want to learn everything. And then you realize, okay, but that's not something I don't know. And no one really like told me like, it's okay to ask. So it's completely fine if you ask like, why did you do something like that? Or why did you approach that problem like that? And I think if someone had told me like the first 6 months would have been like much easier for me, because I never really wanted to ask because I was afraid that people tell me, hey, she's stupid, she doesn't know that.
Yeah.
I think another question is everyone is answered. Thank you.
I can add. Yeah, sorry, I can add, especially for questions like, and especially if I talk about engineering, like actually change pull request like every line why it says there, because sometimes it is there because it's just copied from another repository, or copied and etc. Like, or just best practice that's also stolen, like not invented from scratch, not because the person knows it's everything. It's very cool. Like actually ask everything. Do not assume that there is a thing that's very big and this person knows everything about it. No, asking how to frame it and which part is really important and which one could be skipped or just copied from another part and etc.
So thank you, Irina. Arzu, do we have any more questions?
No, I think we have, but I think everyone is someone is answered, and thank you, Aisha and Monal. Thank you so much. Maybe we check the QA, if we have a question, the form.
Any questions from anyone else besides the ones in the chat? I guess not, right? Maybe we can take a screenshot before we all go.
Exactly. I wanted to ask about it.
Yeah, I think we should. Let's wrap up.